She sacked him. A great bull rush by Chris Jones.
He's not banking on the skill that he's been blessed with.
It's a Kelsey. Great catch. Touchdown. Kansas City, the 10. Still not down. Oh, what a run. Out of this world. Sinks it up the middle. Intercepted. Intercepted by Matthew. The Honey Badger doesn't care.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another victory edition of Chiefs Rewind. Mitch Holthus with you, the voice of the Chiefs, along with the man we call the shop, the Barber Shop, the Richmond Spider. Shawn Barber, 10-year National Football League veteran. Chiefs take care of business 35-9. I know Mahomes threw for over 400 yards. I know the defense was great in the second half. I'm going to get that in a second. I'm going to start with special teams. Usually the scraps, we put them in the microwave and then heat them up later in the week. Not today. I want to ask you about the fake punt pass by Tommy Townsend that led, we got Coach Reid coming up. I'm going to ask you about that in a second, but let's pick up Coach Reid at the podium downstairs addressing the media.
Amongst the team, I thought our defense really did a great job on third downs, in particular in the red zone, and held them to field goals, which ended up being big for us, and then really turned up the gas the second half. And then the offense was able to move the ball well in the air, and it's funny because we have this whole RPO thing going in some of those runs where we end up being throws, but we'll just count them as yards. And so I thought it was a nice job by Patrick. Again, he had complete command of everything going on, including the check at the end when they were in a blitz look and hit Tyreek on a big touchdown. So just both sides of the ball, both lines, I thought did a nice job. I think that Jets defensive front is really a good front. Greg Williams, experienced defensive coordinator that gives you a lot of different looks. And, I was proud of how those big guys handled it on both sides of the ball. So a lot of good work there. And then we were able to get some of the young guys in also with some work. All right, well, that time's yours.
Let's go first to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie. Hey, Coach, good afternoon. Obviously, the punt there with Tommy Townsend with the pass to Byron Pringle. What did the Jets do that led you to make that call there that you saw that?
A lot of heroes in this win over the Jets today, 35-9, but one was the Jet. We call him the Jet playing the Jets, and he lived up to the reputation. Mecole Hardman joins us now. Mecole, heck of a game for you. What about getting dialed up on that flip pass, and then you just taking off and leaving everybody in your sight?
Man, I was winning that play all game, and we got it earlier, and we knew it was a good play. We knew we could score off of it, so I'm just glad they called it and blocked it up pretty good, and I just had to get it in the end zone.
Well, as always, Mecole, you always a friend of the family. We both frequent the same barbershop over at Purple Label. So you just hey, we keep all the family there, man. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about as we move forward, right? Obviously, the Jets were a losing team. You want to keep a losing team losing. But as far as your mentality entering the game, how did the Chiefs as a whole continue to play at a high level no matter who the opponent is week in and week out?
In practice, we just, tell each other, play at our level. Don't play at nobody else's level. Play our ball, our brand of football, and get things going. And we always say we need more touchdowns all the time. So I think we have a touchdown mentality going onto the field. And no matter who in front of us, we want to dominate no matter who it is. And I think that's kind of mentality we had going into this game or any game. And that's what we did today. Just wanted to dominate and score touchdowns, and that's what we did.
I want to ask you, you've seen so much zone this year as an offense. Teams don't want to play a whole lot of man-to-man or blitz you because you burn them deep. How much more are you getting better at playing against zones, finding those slots? Because today it looked like you cut them up when they tried to do that to you.
Yeah, definitely. Teams, I think they fear us and, man, the speed that we have. But, yes, seeing zone a lot, it shows you the holes in the zones that they have and what areas they're not covering. I think we do a good job of going over there in practice. And you can see it, too. You can feel it on the field. When you break it in on your rush, you can see the void. And, Pat see it, too. So if you can just get in that hole, man, Pat will hit you and you just make something happen after the play. So, yeah, I think we get better and better at seeing the zone. And then when we do get man, I think we take advantage of it as well, as you've seen with Tyreek on the deep ball.
Well, taking the top off the defense is something that you and Tyreek do at a high level. And like Mitch just said, no matter if they drop in 6, 7, 8 into the zone, there's always holes and seams. And it's a matter of the wide receivers and Pat Mahomes getting on the same page to find those holes in the zone. So as we go forward with the season, you know the team's going to try to find different ways to throw spies and lurchers and hold players, different things to throw you off your game. Off the field, what are you going to do to continue to keep your game elevated, motivated, moving forward? In your first season is always, they talk about rookies hitting that wall around game 10 because that's kind of what the college season is like. What are you going to do off the field to prevent you from hitting that rookie wall?
The rookie wall, I'm not worried about it. I don't think I hit it my first year. I'm not worried about this year. Yeah. I think you just got to go in there to just, keep your mental right, I think mentally, if you focus and you locked in and you practicing the way you need to practice and you doing the necessary things, I don't think it's a wall for you to hit. I think you just stay consistent and just do what you got to do, And plus, in college, we played 15 games, 14 games, because we went to the playoffs or, go to the natty or whatever it may be. I can't say that about other teams, but I'm definitely, I'm kind of, ready for the long season. I did it 1 year. Now it's the second year. So I think it's good. Just got to be mentally strong and mentally prepared for any game, any situation. I think you'll be just fine.
Gotcha.
Hey, Jed, I want to lay it out there here one more time. And I put it out there about your catches, targets, your ratio, your touchdown ratio, so everybody can go, wait a minute here. Let's think about this. But learning how to play against zone is one thing. But in your second year, learning to play with Patrick Mahomes, your 2-point catch against the Chargers is one of the best plays I've seen in a while because it was total ad-lib. Right out here today, you had to ad-lib again, and Patrick avoids a sack, but he kind of throws it sidearm. You had to make a low catch. The unusual things you have to do as a receiver that you're learning about playing with Patrick and how you have to move and twist and make plays even when they're not easy to make.
Right, definitely, man. I just think Pat, I think you expect that out of Pat, so I think he can get it to you anywhere on the field. And even if he run it to the left, he can throw it back to the right. And I think I kind of knew he can do that. I've set it in my head, and you just got to make the play. You got to make him look good, too. We get paid to catch. He get paid to throw, so we just got to make the plays when they come to us.
All right, Jet, great job today in all phases. Way to go, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Mecole Hardman, exciting when he does that. And, people have kind of been thinking, well, what's wrong with Mecole? What's wrong with Mecole? He's got a 68% catch ratio, and he's got 9 touchdowns and like 40 catches or so.
I think that's just the nature of this offense. I mean, if you're not always putting up 100 yards, 5 catches, 2 touchdowns, people think you're off your game. He does a great job of filling in any void there needs to be in this offense. And Sammy Watkins is a big part of this offense. When Sammy goes down, we talk about who's going to fill that void. And I think Mecole Hardman is doing an excellent job, not only filling that role, but also being an impact player on the special teams. We saw on the block field goal, him scooping, trying to score it. I know he got to cut to the outside on that. When you scoop that ball, you can't cut. You got to cut outside to get away from people. But it's a learning period for this young man, and he's doing a great job as well as punt return, all the special teams things he's doing. He's just doing an awesome job of just staying in tune, staying focused, like you said, and always worrying about what's going to be the next thing we do in this Chiefs offense.
Speaking of special teams, Mahomes wasn't the only guy throwing dimes in this game. We've got another one.
Hey there, how's it going?
Good, man. That was sweet. Now, when you heard the play call, brother, what were you thinking?
Oh, I was pumped. I mean, we've been practicing it for a while, and I've never had any throwing fakes. In college I had a couple running, so yeah, I was glad to go out there and be able to throw the ball. And the coaches had enough trust in me to go out there and execute. And Pringle made a great catch and got the first down and executed. So it's about all you can ask for.
From a technique standpoint, though, what did they tell you? So I got a little son who plays Little League baseball, and my son Deacon, when he pitches, we tell him, hey man, just throw strikes. My son Kay, we just tell him, just throw strikes. What does the coach tell you about that throw? It's gonna be a 20-yard throw. Definitely don't let it hit the ground. But like, how big of a target are you aiming?
I mean, I'm just going right at him. I don't know. I mean, I see him run the route and just throw the ball to him. It's pretty simple, I think. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me, I was thinking about going out there was just, don't baby it. So I don't know, put a little bit of heat on it and got it to him.
Yeah, that thing didn't arc. No. It was on a straight line.
Yeah, that was lazy.
Now, did you do it in high school? Did you do? You had run fakes at Florida, but I mean, come on, man, you had to do something like this. This wasn't the first time you tried this, is it?
Not really. I mean, I feel like I've always been able to throw the ball pretty well. I played quarterback a little bit freshman year of high school, and then after that, it was kind of corner and safety the entire time. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like I've always been able to throw the ball pretty decent. And like I said, I'm glad to be able to, have a throwing fake.
Man,
this is a message to all those freshman football players in the Chiefs. Can you see those games matter, man? Those games matter.
They do.
Well, you've been doing an awesome job of doing the coffin kick, getting the ball inside the 10-yard line, inside the 5-yard line a lot of times. And like you've come here to the kingdom and replaced somebody that everybody loves. This team was in love with Dustin Colquitt. We revered him. He was a master of putting the ball inside the 20-yard line, and we thought that was something that was going to be tough to be replaced. But you've not only replaced him, I think you one-upped him, because you're not only putting it inside the 20, not inside the 10, but inside the 5-yard line is becoming your specialty.
Yeah, I'm trying. I think I did a decent job of that at Florida. But, at the end of the day, like I've said before a few times, I'm just trying to do my job, and whatever Coach Tobe asks of me, I mean, that's what I'm going to try and do to the best of my ability. And obviously anything inside the 20 is great, but inside the 5 is a little bit better.
Tommy, one thing is overlooked is you have to be the holder here. And people are going, man, what's happened to the 5 extra points missed by Harrison Butker? He's hitting 58-yard field goals. How's the holding gone for you in working with Winchester and with Harrison?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, I feel like we've progressed a lot, especially over the past couple weeks. Harrison had another great day. He came out and kicked extremely well. So, we're just kind of crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and tweaking a few things here and there. And, it's coming around. And, yeah, Harrison's hitting the ball well, and excited for the next couple weeks and see what he does.
We'll let the Chiefs Kingdom decide this. Who had the better passing day, Patrick Mahomes or Tommy Townsend? Thanks, man, for being around.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Athletic punter Tommy Townsend with a big fake punt pass. That was awesome.
Hey, man, as a former linebacker, I just by nature, I don't really like kickers and punters. We never did as a player. But these two we have here, Butt Kicker and Tommy Townsend, I think I would love to have a beer with one of those two guys.
All right, let's now go back to downstairs, and let's pick up Andy Reid's press conference.
Yeah, well, they've been working on it. I mean, they've been doing it the last 3 weeks, and it's been like clockwork. That one did get a little high. It's different, but when it's in a game, it's and he's as good a thrower as there is. So he's a real good athlete, and he was able to show a little bit of that today. So, but it's a little different in the game. Next time he does it, it'll be better. Won't be quite as high, but we'll take it right there.
Next to Pete Sweeney. Good, Pete.
Coach, congrats on the win and game plan. 10 different receivers today, 4 different receivers with touchdowns. Just when you have such talented guys who can do damage with the ball in their hands, how great does that make it for a play caller, play designer?
Yeah, I mean, listen, these guys make that easy and are as easy as it can be in the NFL. I mean, there's such great competition out here that. But the best thing that I see and like is that they're on the same page. So, they're thinking right along how the coaches are thinking when we're over on the sideline thinking we know everything, right? So they're kind of right in line with it and actually executing it in game time. So it's impressive.
Go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. I wanted to explore more that play that you briefly mentioned, the last touchdown to Tyreek Hill. We could hear just the audio that Patrick did check out of something. Can you tell us what he checked out of and how similar, was it a running play? And if it was a passing play already, how similar was the route that Tyreek ran to the original play?
If I could tell you, I'd have to make you disappear. No, it was a pass to a pass. So I sounded like I was from Philly for about a second there, but don't tell them that.
Let's go next to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. You've talked, and your coaches too, pretty consistently this season about complacency and that being a thing that you guys are guarding against. I'm just wondering has there been a point this season where you've seen complacency and you've had to address it? And just secondarily, I'm wondering what a performance like this, no disrespect to the Jets, but a performance like this today says in that regard.
Yeah, so listen, coaches are always on guard for all that, and you say it a million times. You're always going to say it. I mean, that's how coaches are wired. So I remind them just of that. But I really haven't worried about it with them because these guys are pretty focused. They enjoy playing with each other. And listen, if you're going to be good at the end of the year, you got to take care of business during the year. And so every game counts as you go forward. And so it's important that you bear down every week. And, that's part of it, as you go. But I haven't really worried that much about it, no, with them.
Next to Vahe Gregorian. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Andy. Every game obviously takes on its own personality, but I think there's a lot of thought that you guys would probably beat the Jets without needing a play like the fake punt. What goes into that kind of decision and trying to seize the game that way?
Yeah, well, listen, you never know in this league. I mean, the parity in this league is ridiculous. Sam Darnold, he gets hot and runs around and makes plays, and if that's going on, and I mean, you saw him drive down to the red zone a couple different times. So it's, that's you got to score points. I've been through too many of those where you pull off the accelerator and then, something bad happens. So you're better off just keeping it down and going for 4 quarters there.
Got time for a couple more guys. We'll go Todd Lebo and then Darren Smith. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned those RPOs, and I think it was last week or a couple weeks ago that Patrick was talking about when he was doing the RPOs, it's okay to run it, right? I mean, he always likes to throw it. How much better has he gotten on deciding and seeing exactly what you want him to see and making the right decision as he's come along through this offense? And how hard is it for him or any quarterback who wants to throw it to hand it off when they want to throw it?
I mean, he was spot on today. I mean, he was seeing and shooting, and he's very accurate with those things, seeing them, I'm saying. And then his throws are good, too. So if he pulls it. But at the same time, he's patient with the run part of it. And he's got a good feel of the game and what's happening with it down and distance wide, field position, all those things. So full trust in him with it, yeah.
Let's go last to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Coach. The question I have is Dirty Dan Sorensen. The last 2 weeks he's made big plays. How has his play, kind of jumpstart and spark the team? Of course, last week he had a pick 6, and today he had the big fumble, caused the big fumble late in the ball game.
Yeah, listen, he's playing good football right now, Darren. I mean, he's flying around, he's making plays. He's just doing, all in all, he's doing a nice job all the way around. He's playing confident, and so it's his 7th year, and I think he feels comfortable back there with the Badger, and they've got good communication amongst them, and with 22, I mean they're all it's a tight group back there, so he's doing a nice job.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
All right, guys, we've got time.
Head coach Andy Reid today. The Chiefs are in another complete game, beating the New York Jets 35-9. Patrick Mahomes, phenomenal in this game. We're going to hear from Patrick at the podium here in just a second. The drive that he had was 6 straight completions. Ball never touched the ground. He had Kelsey for 58 yards of the 73 in that. He had 10 different receivers. We heard that question asked. Man, Mahomes it's just easy to take 415 and 5 touchdowns. Easy to just kind of overlook that.
Well, I think at that point he realized that Greg Williams was going to really stay kind of in the defense. He wasn't going to change what he wanted to do. He was going to stay in either a loose zone or a tight man, and he knew that where Kelsey was going to find those holes, the seams, the kind of call it the dead spots in those zones, and he just had to wait for those plays to uncover and hit his man Kelsey. And hey, we know Kelsey said it not so often ago, but not too far back. He's very hard on himself in games like this, not running the routes he's supposed to be running, trying to ad-lib things and do some things out of his nature. He just want to get back to running the precise routes he should and being exactly where Pat needs him to be to convert first downs.
21 touchdowns, 1 interception. And Kelsey's putting the interception on him. It was in that Raiders game out here, and he said he ran the wrong route. But with Patrick Mahomes cutting up the zone, cutting up the man. Here's the other interesting thing about the last 2 games. Patrick Mahomes has not had to run the ball one time in the last 2 games. The question was asked about the RPO. He's handing it off or throwing it and not running it. Well, didn't have to run it. The running game wasn't awesome today, but he's not running for his life either. I mean, to have no rushing attempts. We know he can run and scramble, but he didn't have to run in this game or the last game.
Yeah, and when Greg Williams tries to defend you, he plays, very aggressive up front, tries to reroute your receivers, tries to see if your receivers are dedicated enough to get back on their routes, and if the quarterback and receiver have enough in common on the same page down the field. And what we proved today is that you can't reroute our guys early and think that they're going to lose track of where they belong in the route and down in the zone, especially. The red zone was something that Pat Mahomes coming into this game, we knew that the Jets were going to be really good in the red zone. And not only was Pat his best in the red zone, man, he was amazing all over the field today.
Yep, long plays, short plays. He had it going, dialing it up for over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. We're going to hear from Patrick Mahomes very shortly at the podium as he's down there. But again, let's go now to Patrick Mahomes downstairs at the podium.
That way, and so now that you kind of see it, that we can throw the ball on teams, we can run the ball on teams, and it's about taking what's there and finding the best way to win a football game.
Let's go next to Dave Skretta. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Patrick, I was just curious what went into that touchdown celebration with Tyreek, and it actually looked like you tried to give him a ride on his first one also, and maybe didn't make it quite as far.
No, the first one, I was just trying to get him out of the stands. I'm just because he went up there, and I don't know the rules on that, but I know it's not probably the best thing to do. So I was trying to get him back down. And then the second one, it looked like he was a little dinged up. So, he made a great play on the ball, and I got him over there, and luckily he ended up being fine. So we're just having fun out there.
Let's go next to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Patrick, this might be the last time we get you before Election Day on Tuesday. I know how much you have dedicated just to getting people out and making it eligible for them to use their vote. What would you say to them as we round the final turn?
Yeah, I would say just finish the job. Go out there, vote, use your voice. No matter where you live, no matter who you're voting for, use your voice and do whatever you think is best for you, this country, and your family.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick, you've talked about how patient you've had to be this year, but did you have a feeling after watching video of the Jets and knowing how Greg Williams plays defense that today was going to be the day that some things opened up down the field for you?
I wouldn't say that necessarily. I think he does a good job of stopping the run. I think if you watch this entire season, they've done a good job usually of getting their kind of cornerbacks and linebackers in there and stopping the run. So I knew there would be some opportunities to me to make some throws. And I thought the dudes did a good job of finding the open spaces and zones. And so it's good to be able to do this, have a game like this, going into another great opponent next week, and kind of show that we can do multiple things and not just one.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Patrick, congrats on the win. Andy had mentioned that there were some RPOs built in today. It certainly felt like maybe there were more, and you had a tendency to throw a little bit more than you were running today. Just what were you seeing out there?
Yeah, just the kind of the alignments of defenders. They were really focused on stopping the run, which they did a good job of doing. We have to obviously try to be better there. But they were coming down fast, and the guys were getting open in space, and I was putting it in their hands. And I think the biggest thing was he kept calling those plays. He kept giving me the option to do run or throw the pass. And I think when you do that, it really puts a lot of stress on the defense.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick, 5 touchdown passes today. I'm just curious, which one was your favorite?
My favorite was probably the last one, just because I got a check to it, and we've been working on that check for a while, and we got the look that we liked, and we were able to check and make the play happen. So I would say that was that one or the underhand one. The underhand one's sweet, man. Every time I get that opportunity to do that, I try to take advantage.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Patrick, I'm just wondering if there's a different feel for you halfway through this season than in the 2 previous, and if so, what that feeling might be about yourself and how the team is playing right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a different feel. The thing to me that I've learned from in my experience is that we have the team that can go get whatever we want to get. Going into the last few seasons, you haven't had that Super Bowl championships. You don't know for sure. You think you do, but you don't know for sure. And I know that we have the players in this locker room, and now it's about the effort that we put in every single day and the really grind of every single day, not taking anything for granted. That's what it's going to take. And I think we have the leaders in this room to try to make a run at it.
Let's go next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick, I'm curious about your perspective from the sideline of the fake punt, and also just how important was that to keeping that drive going, and also what's your critique on the throwing skills of Tommy Townsend?
No, I thought it was sweet, man. He ripped that thing. It wasn't no like lollipop at all. I mean, he caught it and ripped it over there. So it was pretty impressive. I actually didn't know it was happening. I was trying to go for it, and Coach Reid I should have known by the way he just kind of threw it. He said, "Just go ahead." Like he said the special teams out there, and I was like, "Man, you're not going to even think about it." And I guess he already had things planned ahead. And I think Tobe does a great job, and he has for a very long time of having different tricks and different ways to execute at a high level for that special teams group. And it gave us a chance to have another play, and we were able to score on it. It was a big point in the game.
Got time for 3 more. We'll go Sam, Todd, and then Vahe. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Patrick, I mean this with no disrespect to the Jets, right? But their record is what they are. I'm just curious, do you judge the offense's performance a little bit differently against this opponent than you would, the Ravens or a team that you expect to see in January?
I don't. I mean, if you look at this defense and how they've played this year, I mean, they might not have won any games, but they're in games and they're competing and they're doing their job. I mean, they're a team that has a lot of talented players, and when we went out there and we had to execute at a high level, and you have to do that in this league. You can't take anyone for granted because there's great football players in every single team that you're going to go up against.
Let's go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Well, first off, Patrick, that when Anthony Sherman caught the underhand pass, they said it was smoked sausage. Do you have a name for it when Travis catches it?
It was called Stampede Right.
Stampede Right. Very nice. And at this point, we're in November, right? And Pittsburgh and Baltimore just played. Pittsburgh pulled it out. They're undefeated. Are you looking at the scoreboard? Are you scoreboard watching anything like that yet? And if you ever do that, when does that click in?
I think you can't do that. You have to focus on the opponent that you have every single week. Pittsburgh, they won their game and they're undefeated. They're a great football team. And so for us, we just try to win as many games as possible. And if we win them all and we're 15-1 and they're 16-0, they deserve to be the number 1 seed.
Go last to Vahe Gregorian. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Patrick, I assume you've seen Tommy throw before. So did you know he could dish it like that? And just one other part about that play. It's 35-9, the final score, but do moments like that really make a difference, even in a lopsided game like this in the end?
100%. Those moments, especially in the beginning parts of the games, those are huge moments in the game of getting the momentum in your favor and getting things going and putting points on the board. That changes the whole entire game. And so obviously it was a big play, and I've seen Tommy throw, but you never know until someone gets under pressure how they're gonna perform. And he's done a great job of punting the ball and a great job of throwing it so far.
Patrick, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Bradley.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, what a day. 415 yards, 416 passing, and 5 touchdowns. But just you can see that, and dialing out to 10 different guys, it was impressive.
Yeah, Pat makes 400 yards look so easy. And I think that's the thing. You hear some of the questions that are thrown at him is people reaching for finding ways to try to get him to fumble up or trip up. Or you want to take somebody for granted or eat. That's not his mentality. It's never been his mentality. Every time he leads the offense onto the field, it's with a purpose of going and score. It doesn't matter the time of the game. It doesn't matter the nature of the opponent. He's not worried about the opponent. It's about getting his guys lined up, executing, doing their alignment assignments. And he has trust in the offense. He has trust in the coordinator. They're going to make the plays. They're going to make the calls, set us up for victory. And that's going to take care of itself. So I appreciate Pat Mahomes for not falling for some of those a submarine, that sabotage type questions. They try to undermine some of his, the way he competes, the way he goes out there and takes care of business. That's something that shouldn't be overlooked by the Kingdom.
7-1 midway through the regular season. It ties for the second best start with Andy Reid here in Kansas City. But here come the Carolina Panthers. This team is sneaky. First of all, Teddy Bridgewater, his comeback is very much like Alex Smith's. His life was threatened in Minnesota with that injury. It's hard not to be a Teddy Bridgewater fan. They're going to have Christian McCaffrey back. This is a dangerous team coming in the Carolina Panthers. The latest the Chiefs have had an NFC crossover game since 2002. But the Chiefs will have to play good, complete football to beat Carolina. There's some talent on that team.
Definitely. You talk about DJ Moore. You talking about the new number 10 they got. They got a 10 that can run it out the background, run it out the backfield. He's a pass pass receiver, Ohio State product. And then Robbie Anderson, the old Jets, who's been revived there at Carolina. So they have offensive weapons that can stretch the field, and they can run the ball with, like you said, Christian McCaffrey and also Mike Davis. So a bunch of weapons but defensively, are they going to be able to run up and down the field with our offense? I think not. Not many teams can. So it's going to be a good test for right now, midway through the season, halfway through the season point, to kind of test and really gauge how far our defense has really grown, and do they really trust what we can do on that field. I think Coach Spags is going to have a great game plan coming against the Carolina Panthers.
And watching that game Thursday night, I'm going, have they just taken all of the Chiefs plays? Because there was a lot of Chiefs plays on that Carolina Panther team. Remember, Matt Rule was at Temple, and Coach Reid has a lot of ties to Temple University. One final way, we're going to close it out this way. Easy to take Patrick Mahomes for granted. It's also easy to take this for granted, right? This week, reminder to vote. There'll be a voting place right here at Arrowhead Stadium, but please make sure it's one of the greatest privileges we have in this country, in the freedom that we have to vote. So we encourage everybody to do it. It was on the field today, and we hope that you remember to vote on this Tuesday. He's Shawn Barber. I'm Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Chiefs. Chiefs are 7-1, beat the Jets today 35-9. Thanks for joining us on Chiefs Rewind.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and by Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.